Hello, my dear children. Myself Sujata. In the last class, we learned about population as an asset for the economy rather than a liability. Importance of education, as in the case of Sakal and Vilas. Various economic activities undertaken in the primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. In this session, we'll be learning about quality of population, education policies, government program like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, basic features of it. The 12th plan endeavored to raise the country's gross enrollment ratio, and we'll understand how health is an indispensable basis for realizing one's well-being. Okay, first we'll discuss about quality of population. The quality of population depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy, skill formation acquired by the people of the country. The quality of the population ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. Illiterate and unhealthy population are a liability for the economy. Literate and healthy population are an asset. Okay, now let us understand how education contributes towards the growth of society. Education helps an individual to make use of the economic opportunities available. It opens new horizons, provide new aspiration, and develop values of life. Education contributes towards the growth of society. It enhances the national income, cultural richness, and increases the efficiency of governance. Education develops the existing human resource into human capital formation. It further adds to the productive power of a nation. It provides a vital input for the growth of one's personality. Better knowledge and skill provided by education help in the better utilization of a country's natural resources. Certain measures are taken by the government to promote education. There is a provision made for providing universal access, retention, and quality in elementary education with a special emphasis on girls. There is also an establishment of pace setting of schools like Navodaya Vidyalaya in each district. Vocational streams have been developed to equip large number of high school students with occupations related to knowledge and skills. The plan outlay on education has increased from rupees 151 crore in the first plan to rupees 3766.90 crore in the 11th plan. The expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP. GDP stands for gross domestic product. It rose from 0.64 percentage in 1951 to 52 to 3.0 percentage in 2015 to 16 as per the budgetary estimate. Documents of Union State Governments, Reserve Bank of India, the expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP has declined to 2.7 percentage in 2017 to 18. Government policies could add to the literate population of India. The literacy rates have increased from 18 percentage in 1951 to 74 percentage in 2010-11. Literacy is not only a right, it is also needed if the citizens are to perform their duties and enjoy their rights properly. However, a vast difference is noticed across different sections of the population. Literacy among males is nearly 16.6 percentage higher than females, and it is about 16.1 percentage higher in urban areas as compared to rural areas. In 2011, Literacy rates varied from 94% in Kerala to 62% in Bihar. The primary school system has expanded to over 8.41 lakh in 2015-16. Unfortunately, this huge expansion of schools has been diluted by the poor quality of schooling and high dropout rates. Okay, study the graph given in the previous slide and answer the following questions. Has the literacy rates of the population increased since 1951? In which year India has the highest literacy rates? Why literacy rate is high among the males of India? Why are women less educated than men? How would you calculate literacy rate in India? What is your projection about India's literacy rate in 2020? So we can say that human being is a positive asset and a precious national resource which needs to be cherished, nurtured and developed with tenderness and care, coupled with dynamism. Each individual's growth presents a different range of problems and requirements. The catalytic action of education in this complex and dynamic growth process needs to be planned meticulously and executed with great sensitivity. Okay, now let us try to know about another education program by government, the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is a significant step towards providing elementary education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years by 2010. It is a time bound initiative of the central government in partnership with the states, the local government, and the community for achieving the goal of universalization of elementary education. Along with it, bridge courses and back to school camps have been initiated to increase the enrollment in elementary education. Midday meal scheme has been implemented to encourage attendance and retention of children and improve their nutritional status. These policies could add to the literate population of India. The 12th plan endeavored to raise the country's gross enrollment ratio in higher education in the age group of 18 to 23 years to 25.2 percentage by 2017-18 and to reach the target of 30 percentage by 2020-21, which would be broadly in line with world average. The strategy focuses on increasing access, quality, adoption of state specific curriculum modification, vocationalization, and networking on the use of information technology. The plan also focuses on distance education, convergence of formal, non formal, distance, and IT education institutions. Over the past 50 years, there has been a significant growth in the number of university and institutions of higher learning in specialized areas. Okay, now study the table given and we can understand the increase in the number of colleges, number of universities, students and teachers. And trying to answer these questions. Is the increase in the number of colleges adequate to admit the increasing number of students? Do you think we should have more number of universities? What is the increase noticed among the teachers in the year 1998-99? What is your idea about future colleges and universities? Okay, now let us try to understand how health is an indispensable basis for realizing one's well being. The health of a person helps him to realize his or her potential and the ability to fight illness. he or she will not be able to maximize his or her output to the overall growth of the organization. Indeed, health is an indispensable basis for realizing one's well being. Henceforth, improvement in the health status of the population has been the priority of the country. Our national policy too aims at improving the accessibility of healthcare, family welfare, and nutritional service with a special focus on the underprivileged segment of the population. Over the last 5 decades, India has built a vast health infrastructure and has also developed the manpower required at primary, secondary, and tertiary sector in government as well as in the private sector. These measures adopted have increased the life expectancy to over 67.5 years in 2013. Infant mortality rate, that is, the death of a child below 1 year of age. Infant mortality rate has come down from 147 in 1951 to 40 in 2013. Crude birth rates. Birth rate is the number of babies born for every 1,000 people during a particular period of time. Birth rates have dropped to 21.4 and death rates to 7 within the same duration of time. Death rate is the number of people per 1,000 who die during a particular period of time. Increase in life expectancy and improvement in childcare are useful in assessing the future progress of the country. Increase in longevity of life is an indicator of good quality of life marked by self confidence. Reduction in infant mortality involves the protection of children from infection, ensuring nutrition along with mother and child care. Okay, this table shows the health infrastructure over the years. Study the table and answer the following questions. What is the percentage increase in dispensaries from 1951 to 2015? What is the percentage increase in doctors and nursing personnel from 1951 to 2015? Do you think the increase in the number of doctors and nurses is adequate for India? If not, why? What other facilities would you like to provide in a hospital? Discuss about the hospital you have visited and can you draw a graph using this table? Okay, try to draw one. And here, when you look into the table, you can see the SC stands for subcenter, PHC stands for primary health center, and CHC stands for community health center. You can look into your textbook for more details. Okay, now let us recap what we have learned in this session. We learned that the quality of population depends upon the literacy rate, health of a person indicated by life expectancy, and skill formation acquired by the people of the country. We learned how education is important and how it contributes towards the growth of society, government policies that could add to the literate population of India, and government program like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan and its basic features. The 12th plan endeavored to raise the country's gross enrollment ratio and how health is an indispensable basis for reaching one's well-being. Okay, hope you have understood. Read the textbook thoroughly. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.